151, all these sections, they have just come into being on 1st of April 2021. The main thing is that today, the main purpose of these sections was to reduce litigation and also to give statutory sanction to GK and drive shafts. We know the judgment said that before proceeding further, whatever material you have, put it to the assessee, invite his objections, and dispose of the same by passing a speaking order. Now, this is a judge-made law in GK and drive shafts. They incorporated this in 148A. The whole purpose of 148A was that before you go on, please put whatever you have to the assessee and elicit a response. So now this should actually reduce litigation. But what have we seen? Ananya has filed 200 cases in the Delhi High Court. I have filed a number of them. Why is it not serving its purpose? Why is it that the litigation has actually increased? What is the reason? The purpose was that right in the beginning you know what is against you, so therefore put your reply on record, and wherever it needs to be dropped, it should be dropped, and wherever it needs to be carried on, it should be carried on. The reason for that is that they begin with information. What is information? DDIT investigation sends a report. They collect something in a search, and on the basis they issue you a notice under 148A. Now, what is that information? That information has never been verified. If you look at the case of SR Cold Storage, which we have before us, Allahabad High Court has imposed 50 lakhs cost in this case. Why? Unverified information is the basis of commencement of proceedings. A person can keep saying that you have sent me a notice saying that there is cash deposit in my bank account of 50 lakhs. I have only 5 lakhs. At least verify that. The Allahabad High Court said we are going to impose costs on you, and they also directed them to issue a circular that you will commence all proceedings after verification of information. But good for us, they are still not doing that. It is again being carried on the basis of unverified information. The second reason why the litigation is increasing is that it is done without any homework. So you get a show cause notice on a issue, whereas the final order which they pass under 148 AD is on another issue. So principles of natural justice are completely violated. You have answered it on A issue, but the final order which has been passed is on B issue. Now what do? You come to the High Court and request for quashing, and then you face another round of litigation. So this is causing another spate of litigation, but these are small issues which I think will get ironed out with the passage of time. They will realize that if we have to give some meaning to this section, we should ensure that there is some application of mind at the time of passing of orders under 148 AD. We have already challenged it, and we have got a favorable order in the case of one Shashankar, where again they gave notice under one particular issue and final order was passed on another issue. The jurisdictional high court intervened and we got the necessary relief. Now, besides that, another thing is that, as we all know, beyond 3 years, when there is escapement of income of more than 50 lakhs, the sanctioning authority is PCCIT. Now what they have done, they have taken sanctions from PCIT, and again people have approached the High Court. High Court is still seized of the matter, but I am quite hopeful that it will be quashed, because whatever the section provides, the sanctioning authority has to be that authority. This is not an irregularity which is curable, because when they expect that there is escapement of income of 50 lakhs, then they want that a senior enough officer should apply his or her mind before proceeding further. Now, also the word used in 148A is income chargeable to tax. So although there is a 50 lakh limit which is prescribed beyond 3 years, but it has to be income chargeable to tax. So you could have bogus purchases worth 50 lakhs, but you are saying that my profit is only 10%, and you have been filing returns and it has been accepted. Now you get a notice which says that 50 lakhs purchases have escaped assessment. You can go to the High Court and allege that the section uses the word income escaping assessment. So my income in that 50 lakh receipt is only 5 lakhs. So how have you invoked jurisdiction beyond 3 years to send me a notice? Now we have a judgment of the Madhya Pradesh High Court in Nitin Nema, where the High Court has specifically said that because the word used is income chargeable to tax, we have to interpret it in terms of section 224. And income chargeable to tax always denotes an income less than what is given in the notice. So the same view has been taken by Karnataka High Court also, a single bench, which has been approved in Nitin Nema's case. So again, for capital gains. So you have purchased a property, maybe for 50 lakhs. Again, you say that the gain component is not 50 lakhs. So should it not be thrashed at the stage of 148A? That's my question to you. So if you have got a notice, you can show your returns or you can show the income component, and thereafter, in terms of 148AD, should the assessing officer not apply his mind and pass an order accepting or rejecting your contention? Because the word used is not gross receipt. It is actually income escaping assessment chargeable to tax. So this is one issue which I have seen is subject matter of a lot of litigation in the High Court, because this is a new issue, and so far we have just the Madhya Pradesh High Court on that. Besides that, we are also facing issues on non-PAN and non-existent entities. So these are the subject matter of a lot of notices. What is happening? You were a partnership earlier, you had a PAN number. Your bank account is still under the old PAN number. Thereafter, you have ceased to do business. Now they send you notices in the name of that non-existent entity saying that you have not filed a return. Again, you go to the assessing officer and you say, sir, this non-existent entity is no longer relevant. A, your notice can't be sent. And B, when it was in existence, we have filed the returns and we have offered this money to taxation. But despite that, the proceedings are not dropped. We have a lot of litigation, sole proprietor into partnership, partnership dissolved into sole proprietor, but notices continue to be given for the old non-existent entity. We have cited Maruti, we have cited all case law that these entities can't be given notices, but it is a persistent problem. Similarly, you have a PAN number, you have a jurisdictional AO, they treat you as a non-PAN case, and if you are based in Haryana, they will ask you to appear before some authority somewhere else, treating you as a non-PAN case. It could be Jammu, it could be here, it could be there. But the 148 AD does not recognize any of the objections that you take, even saying that you have a PAN number. So that is the second avenue of litigation which I am seeing today, which is very, very rampant. The third thing is, of course, this word. The word used now is asset. So if you have a notice which is issued to you beyond 3 years, the income which has escaped assessment must be in the form of an asset. So which is an immovable property, shares, stock, then entries in the books of account. Entries in the books of account, these are creating a lot of issues also, because traditionally, if you disclose something in your books of accounts, how does it become undisclosed? I will give you an example. So you have disclosed share premium, share application money, which you have received. It is disclosed. But it is from shell companies, it is from all kinds of people who don't exist. So what can they say? They say that entry in your books of accounts is suspect, it is an asset, and therefore we can issue you a notice beyond 3 years, treating it as income chargeable to tax, which has escaped assessment. The word asset traditionally, as on 1/4/21, did not have these two subclauses. These were inserted only in 22, and in 22 also it was not done retrospectively. So what happens? All your clients who have that 1 year window, means that on 1/4/21 they were issued a notice, they can always plead that the word asset as it existed on that day did not have these two subclauses. So therefore the larger definition cannot be applied in our case. This is also being tested in the High Court. We have a petition which is pending, and let us see which way the High Court goes, because generally the High Court can say it is declaratory, so therefore we should give it retrospective operation. But so far this is another word which is subject matter of a lot of litigation in the High Court. Now, third party search. All builders, all brokers, all persons who are searched, they generally have a person who is called a handler. So your books of accounts, your floppies, your hard disks, everything will have something which is undisclosed. Now, how does the Income Tax Department come to you? So they have a statement which is recorded under 132(4), and they use that third party material as incriminating material to tax you. So a lot of litigation that we see today under 148A, it is based on a third party search. But what is the disadvantage? In a third party search, whatever material you have found, there is no inquiry under 148A. The proviso to 148A actually dispenses with the inquiry in case of a search case. So whether you're searched yourself or you're a third party for whom material has been found, you are not going to be given the benefit of the inquiry under 148A. So it is presumed that there is information and they will proceed against you under 148A without involving you at any stage. So we have cases of OMAX, we have cases of a lot of builders, they have been searched, material has been found, and one fine day you or one of your clients could get a notice saying that there is incriminating material, so please face reassessment proceedings. Now, if you look at it constitutionally, we have created two classes of people. So one class is those people who are not searched, and we have one class of people who have been searched and in whose case there will be no inquiry. I put it to you, under the constitutional scheme, is this valid? Can these two classes be created? Can you have a class of people who have the benefit of the new provision 148A, and we have another set of people with whom you are saying no, because you're searched or some information has been found, we will not associate you in any inquiry before proceeding further. In my humble opinion, I feel it is manifestly arbitrary. It has no avowed purpose. Why should you treat a searched and a non-searched person differently? If you have decided that you're going to put the material to all, then there is no need for this classification. But today, as the section exists, we have a dispensation of the inquiry in the case of a search. The other thing which I have noticed is this, is the change of opinion doctrine. If you will recollect, ever since you have seen this section, one of the bases for coming to the High Court was that it cannot be based on a change of opinion. Now, that is when we had the words reason to believe. Reason to believe does not exist in the section anymore. If you look at the section today, it just talks of information. Then how has the Bombay High Court in Siemens and the Delhi High Court also in Seema Gujral looked at the theory of change of opinion? Is there formation of an opinion? Is there need for a change of opinion? How have they applied the section? They say that there is no power of review with an assessing officer. So if you have looked at an issue earlier in a scrutiny assessment or otherwise, then you cannot look at it again even under the new section. Because there is a higher authority. Let us assume there were some errors. Then you have the power of 263. Even under the new dispensation, after 1421, you cannot again reassess a person when you have examined that issue earlier in a limited manner also under 143.3. So this is a very, very enlightened High Court, a Bombay High Court, who has taken this opinion. But so far, it is not tested anywhere. Delhi, of course, has followed suit. But Punjab and Haryana, we have not so far brought it before the bench. But I'm hoping that they also follow suit with Bombay and Delhi and entertain writ petitions even under the new dispensation on the change of opinion doctrine. So if we again go on, one of the first things which the judges ask you is that why have you filed a writ? You have the remedy of appeal. You can go there. Nikhil is sitting with us. He is very experienced with the red chilli litigation. So again, what happened was that our High Court said, you have appellate remedy. Please, this cannot be entertained. So an order passed under 148 AD was not entertained by our High Court. So they are quite brave. They went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court intervened, but the Supreme Court order, I would say, is also a little cryptic. They have said that wherever you have a jurisdictional issue, you always have the remedy of writ. So what I'm trying to say is that if your order under 148 AD is on a jurisdictional issue, it is on a time-barred assessment, it is less than 50 lakhs, it is based on a change of opinion, it is by a non-jurisdictional assessing officer, it is on any of the issues which goes to the root of the matter, yes, the High Court can and should interfere. Because in such a case, if we look at Calcutta discount, you have the right to approach the High Court. Why should you go through the appellate channel? Because the purpose of the section is that right at the inception, if there are these issues, they should be thrashed and finished. If you are going to relegate an assessee to the appellate provisions and say that you please go to appeal, then the whole section collapses. If we look at the spirit of the section, that is the purpose of this inquiry, that is the purpose of the speaking order, that is the purpose of this entire scheme. And if you say that yes, you have raised a valid issue, yes, he's wrong, but we will not interfere, carry it in appeal, then you are actually negating the entire section itself. But again, the hero of every litigation are the facts. Show me the facts and I will actually show you the law. That is the view which is taken by all high courts. So if you go against 148 AD on the ground of bogus purchases, you go against share premium, you go against an issue which does not prick the conscience of the court, then the court will use this as a pattern and say that we will relegate you to the appellate remedy. Although it is not an appealable order at that juncture. Although the main purpose of the section is that you should get quick relief. Now, we have Vivek Saran Agarwal's case where the Allahabad High Court has done precisely that. They have said, please carry the matter in appeal at this juncture, which is a very nascent, they've used the word nascent stage, and it requires further inquiry or adjudication. So therefore, they have said that we will not interfere in orders under 148 AD. In my humble opinion, I feel that this is not a correct enunciation of law, because this goes against the Constitution bench in Calcutta discount. This goes against what has been said in Godrej Sarali. So whenever you're confronted with this Vivek Saran Agarwal's case, I would again suggest that if you have a jurisdictional issue, you can say that this judgment is not applicable and should be ignored. So in the end, I will just say two things. I feel that 148A is a welcome measure. I feel that as we see more and more of this litigation, it will bring a sense of relief to the assessees. I feel that there should be intervention even in search cases. We should plead that even in a search case, you cannot, in a random manner, issue notices under 148. Why? The reason is that there is a sanctity to concluded assessment. Right from Sun Engineering till now, you cannot, if you have seen something, you cannot keep having a re-look at it over and over again. Also because we know the third explanation to section 147 earlier, which is again incorporated. It says that you can, during reassessment, open it on an issue which was not there in the initial reasons recorded or in the initial information. So therefore, the entire gamut of your entire assessment gets reopened. So with this, I will just ask Ananya to add further, and then we can take your queries in the end if you have some questions, because I think that is how we've designed it. So Ananya.